Hello, everyone. Hi. Uh, we are here doing a webinar, apparently. Um, but I'm going to give everyone a few minutes just to make sure that everybody shows up before I get into anything too serious. But I will do a little bit of an introduction so that people know who I am and what on earth I'm talking about. Hi there. I'm Christopher Stewart. I am one of the founders of SC TreeHouse, which is a transmedia storytelling company. It's actually one of only like five in the United States. And as a transmedia storytelling company, what SC Treehouse does is we actually handle transmedia productions, which is the concept of telling a single story that transcends multiple mediums. So we work with like having a book that is the story continues in a movie, or maybe a graphic novel that also has a radio drama counterpart. So we deal with just producing and handling those interconnected stories that kind of transcend a single medium and one goes into the other. So that's what we do at SC Treehouse, and I'm one of the founders there. I'm also one of the transmedia producers that works at SC Treehouse. Now, granted, SC Treehouse is a small, little small company, but we are one of the few people who do what we do in the United States. So it's kind of cool. We're actually one of the few people who do what we do in the entire world. But anyway, in working in transmedia, one of the things that's always an issue for is being able to collaborate with the different mediums that we're working on, and especially being able to collaborate with the different people who work on them, especially when they're around the world. So oftentimes we'll have team members who are working on a particular project who are miles and miles apart, halfway across the globe. So back in 2015, we started developing a way of being able to communicate and collaborate with creators from around the world in order to kind of help solve the problem that we had run into, in which we had creators who were all working on the same project, but were miles and miles apart, to where some people were, meeting. Like for some people it was 4 o'clock in the morning, while other people it was 4 o'clock in the evening. So we were trying to figure out, well, how can we create something to help these people collaborate? So we started working on that in 2015, and in 2016 we had developed this place that we called Everything You Need to Know to Survive Insanity, because that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like we were creating a way to survive the insanity of doing what we were trying to do. And the idea was brought up by one of the great creators that we were working with, that if we could make this mainstream to where other people could use it, they would definitely use it for other projects that they worked on as well. So that kind of sparked the idea of what we now call Storytellers, which is a interconnected system of different parts that helps creators and storytellers from around the world be able to work together to create things that by themselves they could never create. And kind of the heart and mission behind this is to encourage the body of believers to work together as Christ's body, to be able to accomplish things instead of working separately, or even trying to work against each other. We want to encourage them to work together as the single body of Christ. So that is kind of where Storytellers has come from. So what I'm about to introduce you to is just a small part of what we have come to call the Storyteller System. And the Storyteller System is actually made up of 5 parts itself, which you can see right here on the screen. It's made up of what we call creators, ideas, fans, funds, and outlets. So the theory behind this is that the Storyteller System can take a creator from the very start of their project all the way until it is distributed. So the first step of the Storyteller system is creators, which is a IMDb style database with a really neat sort of Facebook esque social media aspect to it that really helps creators be able to meet each other, collaborate with each other, and share ideas. And from there, we have ideas, which is kind of a pitching platform where you're able to send in your ideas, submit your ideas, post your ideas, and we take them to funders and we help you try to get an audience for them and get people excited about them. And then we have fans, which is a system that allows you to be able to communicate with your fans about projects that you're doing, or um, about anything that's going on that they would like to know about. It's very similar to Facebook, except for anybody who's familiar with the way that Facebook pages work, particularly Facebook fan pages, you know that every time you post something, Facebook is like, "Hey, if you want your audience to see this, why don't you pay us money?" Which really doesn't make a lot of sense, because it's like, wait a minute. They said they liked my page, which means they want to see what I do. Why do I have to pay money for them actually to see what I do? So fans is a lot like Facebook in that sense. It works like it's a, Facebook page or whatnot, but it actually allows you to be able to reach out to your audience for free, and you don't have to pay for it. So uh, anytime that you post something as a on fans as like the head of whatever project you're posting for. So if you had a film called John's Great Holiday and you were posting on the site, it would give you a little thing that popped up and it was like, hey, would you like to send a notification to all of your fans about this post? Because they'll see it in their feed regardless, but you have the option to actually send them a notification through either text message or email, depending on whatever the fan chose. So that way you can guarantee that the most important stuff people actually end up knowing about, instead of, maybe it passes them by and they never actually see it. So that's fans. And then the next part of the Storyteller system is funds. And this is where we try to help you get the funds to actually do your project. And this actually works in a couple different ways. It works a lot like Kickstarter, where you can raise funds by the crowd. So that's through like your fans or your friends or whatever, your family, crowdfunding. So a lot like Indiegogo or Kickstarter, funds can operate that way. It also operates in more of a investor sense, where you can uh, divvy out shares and all that kind of good jazz. And it also works in sort of a Patreon style, to where a single creator can create a fund page for themselves that people are allowed to donate to, like monthly or whatever. So if you're like a cartoon artist, or maybe you do comic strips, or you're a blogger or something, and you don't really have a centralized project for people to be able to fund, but you do stuff and you are a creator, you just do a bunch of smaller stuff, you can, create one of those Patreon style campaigns where people just sponsor you as a creator to continue doing what you're doing, instead of actually sponsoring a project. Because we realize that not everything is project centered, some things are creator centered. So we wanted to be able to help out that. And then outlets is the last step. And this is where we actually help you get your project distributed. So we have several different publishing companies we work with for books, places like BAM, which is Books a Million. But I prefer to call it BAM, because if you have the acronym BAM, why on earth would you ever call it by the full name? Why wouldn't you just be like, BAM, that's us? So yeah, anyway, Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, those kinds of places, we have partnerships with them to be able to distribute books, as well as like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and iTunes and all that stuff for distributing films and different stuff like that. So music as well, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, all those great places, Google Play, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of a rundown of the Storyteller system. Now, as you can tell, not all of this is up and running, but the hope is that through the remaining months of 2018, we will actually be periodically releasing parts of the Storyteller system until the whole thing is up and fully functioning. So right now, we're just kind of starting simple, and we're starting with creators, and we're working our way up. So eventually, we will have this whole thing up and running for you guys. But for now, it's creators is what we've got going. So I'm going to introduce you to that and let you guys start using it and figuring out what's all cool that it can do and that kind of stuff. So before we get going, let's do a little housekeeping here. If you'll notice where you're watching your live stream at, over to um, someone is saying something. Okay. Anyway, if you'll notice, over to the right hand side of your screen is actually a little chat thing. And you're able to type in there and say things. So if you have any questions, please use that little chat over to the right hand side of your screen, or if you're on a mobile device, it will be below the actual stream itself. But if you have any questions, just type in there, and I will try not to ignore them, but answer them. So yeah, there's some housekeeping. Just to make sure that everybody's alive, it'd be cool if you all just typed hi so that I knew no one was dead. But yeah, and just to make sure that it's actually working and I'm getting your questions. I see that I have one from Chris M. Stewart saying that there's nothing there except the cross and the words. I think I got that fixed already. I think you should be able to see it now. So, um, yeah. Okay, cool. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to type in the chat. So let's get into this real quick. Let us now explore the grand, vast world of creators. Now, creators actually comes in two lovely flavors. Okay, I say flavors, it's not flavors. It's got two parts to it, okay? So there's two parts to the creator system. Okay, so somebody is saying that they are on YouTube and still cannot see. Well, you're not supposed to see me. You're supposed to see the screen. So you should see the word Storytellers, and you should see a cross and a light bulb and a little fan guy and a funds cash sign and an outlets. You won't actually be seeing my face because that's not really going to help you out a lot. You'll need to see the screen so I can show you what I'm doing. So yeah, I hope that answered that question. And hopefully that fixes the problem. Um, we'll actually try to fix that real quick. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So looks like some people are able to see the screen and some people may have trouble. So we're going to real quick just try fixing that problem. See if we can get everybody on the same page. So bam. Now it's gone. And now let's see if we can bring it back. And now we're going to try to bring it back. Okay. So there we go. Okay. So we're back. Awesome. Cool. Looks like it's working. Everybody's alive. That's nice. Okay. So here we go. We're gonna get into it. Like I was saying earlier before I got totally distracted with trying to make sure everything was working. There's two parts to the creator system. And the first part of it is called the database, and the second part is called the network. And the reason for those names is because they both sounded really cool when you put the word the in front of them. The database, the network. So that's why they got named that. But basically, the database is like an IMDb style database for listing projects that you've worked on and giving yourself credit and all that. Of course, we juiced it up a bit because why not? We could, so we did. And then the network is a lot like Facebook. It's a way that you can actually keep keep up with other creators and work with them and be able to network with them in some really cool ways. It also gives you some neat like collaborating features that you're able to use to collaborate with people. So um, uh, let's get into this real quick. So here we are. We are here on the main website. And if you all want to follow along for whatever reason and don't want to watch the live stream, this is actually now public to where you can get to it. It is storytellers.sctreehouse.com. So you can all go there and actually just click around. And if you have questions, I can answer them. But here we are on the home splash page. And if you click on this little guy here, this little cross man, this is where you can go to the creators part. And as you can see, the rest of them are coming soon. So we'll head on over here to creators. And now when you get here, this is what I was saying. There's two sides to creators. There's the database and the network. And we're going to work in chronological order here. So we'll start with the database. So if you head on over to the database, there's a couple of different things that you're going to see right off the bat. The first thing that you're going to see is what we call the creator of the month, which is every month we pick a creator and we kind of feature them for the entire month, do some interviews with them and show off some of their work to try to help people meet other creators that they've never seen before. So as part of that, we're actually working with some really cool people over at Media Realming, which is a YouTube channel. You should check it out. Media Realming, which, by the way, I thought at first that it was Media Roaming. It is not. It is Media Realming, like fantasy realms, except with an ing. So it's Media Realming. But we're working with them to be able to actually do some neat stuff for the creators of the month every month. But that's something that we're trying to do to help, just get people to meet each other and find new people that maybe you've never met before. So here is the main page for the database. And you'll see that we have the creator of the month here, which is Jacqueline S. Booth. So you can actually learn some more about her by clicking this button, or you can follow her here on her fans page. But we'll get back to that in just a moment. So down here, this is where we see the newest creators. So these are the most recent creators who have joined the database. And we can click on them and actually see their like IMDb style profiles. And we'll get back to that too in just a second. And then right here, if you hit this button more, it'll show you all the new creators. And that's just all the new creators for the past month. So every month it refreshes with new creators. But right here, you have a add creator button. And this is where you can actually add yourself to the database. So if you hit that, it brings us right here to list a creator on Storytellers. Now here you have two options. You can list a new creator or you can update an existing creator. So this would be for, starting fresh. You want to create your listing on the database for the first time. You're not listed on there in any way. This here would be if you already are listed on the database and you already have what we call a creators page, which is a page for you as a creator. This is where you'd be able to update anything on that page. But since we just launched this site, I know that most everybody here does not have a creators page. So I'm going to kind of walk you through how you set that up. So if you hit, by the way, here are some examples of some creator pages that you can look at. But if you hit list a new creator, it'll actually take you to your creator's profile form. And of course, there's a little note at the beginning that's like, hey, if you have an existing page, why don't you use the updated creators form instead of creating a duplicate page? So yeah, once you fill this out for the first time and you submit it and your page is built, you'll never need to come back to this again. You'll just use this updated creator form here. So um, once you've done that for the one time, you will never have to do it again. So let's go back. Well, here's what the update form looks like. You have different things. You can update your basic information. You can add credits. And there's a couple different flavors of credits, but we'll come back to those. So here is the form for listing yourself. Now, um, I've had questions on what kind of information on this form is public for people to see and what is not. Uh, Basically, all of this information is required because we have some neat stuff set up where we're able to actually sync our credits with IMDb and Casted and Backstage and stuff like that. So we have to have all this information to be able to sync with them. They require it for us to be able to do that. But um, uh, you can make any of it private that you want to. Although, granted, some of it being private isn't really helpful to you. Like if you made your name private, that's kind of going to be interesting for anyone to find you because they can't look for you by your name because you've made that private. But any of this can be made private to where people can't see it, but it is all needed for us to be able to sync with IMDb and all that kind of stuff because we have to do vetting for all that. So we have to have this information to be able to vet everybody who comes through for that kind of stuff. But in general, by default, your birthday, your gender, and your ethnicity are all kept private. They aren't public on the site. Now you can make them public, say like you're an actress or something, and it's important for people to know your ethnicity and your gender and all that stuff. You can definitely make that public if you need to. And then there's a few different boxes that are just general information for us to know about you while we go through the vetting process. Because anytime that you submit a new creator, they have to be vetted and approved before they can be put on the site. And the reason why this is done is one, we want this site to have a reputation that the people on it are actually creators and they're not just phony profiles or people who aren't really doing anything. So we vet everybody who comes through for that sense to help give the site a good standing in the community so people know when they find somebody on this site it's a legit person who's actually doing stuff and will be willing to work on projects and all that kind of stuff and not some phony profile that never answers any messages that people send it. And also we use this information to be able to get profiles approved on IMDb and Casted and that kind of stuff. So, so a couple of these little fields here, like this, is there anything else you want to say to introduce yourself? That's strictly for us. If there's something that you feel is important that we need to know while we're vetting you, please include it here. It would be very helpful to us. Uh, one lady who filed to actually have a creators page works with prison ministry, which is really neat. But because of that, there's a lot of information that she can't have public because of that ministry that she does with the prisons. So she was able to use this little field to explain that to us so that we knew how to handle her information properly so that we didn't put her in jeopardy while she was ministering to those people in the prisons. So, yeah, anything that you feel like is important for us to know, please let us know here. This information doesn't go past us, it's just for our sake so that we know what to do. Um, and then we've got some resume stuff, and all this by default is public because we feel like it's important for people to know your bio. We feel like it's important for people to know what kind of jobs you're looking for, what your experience, what your experience level is, your headshot, your cover photo. Um, the paper resume here, We're actually working on updating this function, but for now we're going to leave it how it is. But we're working on updating this function to where it's not required. Right now it's required because IMDb is telling us we have to have it to be able to prove stuff. We're working with them though to try to get it to where we don't have to have that to do it, because a lot of people don't have official paper resumes, so it's kind of hard to get that for them. It becomes kind of a sticky spot that slows them down in trying to file. So we're trying to get that to where it's not required. But the site itself does actually create a paper resume for you that can be printed off. So once you've filed for your creators page and it's approved and it's up and everything, the site will actually turn that also into a paper resume that you can download and print, so you can take it with you to interviews and stuff. So we're trying to get it to where IMDb will just let us use those paper resumes and we don't have to get one from you. But for now, we have to get one from you to be able to approve all that kind of stuff. So yeah. And then once again, right here, is there anything else we need to know about any of your past work? This would be this doesn't go public. This is just for us when working on your stuff. This would be a great place for you to let us know anything about projects you weren't credited on, or any sort of past work that we need to know about during the vetting process in any way. If you're brand new to the industry and you're working on a project that isn't released yet, this would be a good place to explain that to us so that we know as we're working on that what's going on. So then when it comes down to your contact information, all of this information stays private. No one ever sees this. What we do is we use forms to mask all this information so that people can reach you through your cell phone and through your email, but it's actually masked with different numbers and different email addresses so that your personal information isn't out there, but people are still able to get a hold of you for job positions or whatever. So we want you to be the one to give out your contact information and not us, but we do want people to be able to reach out to you if they would like to or if they need to. So we take this contact information here and we mask it, and we use forms. So people fill out a form and it will then send it to your email instead of them actually taking your email address and writing you an email directly. Or the same thing, they fill out like a text message form and then we send it to your phone number instead of them actually getting your phone number. So this all stays private, and but people are able to actually contact you through it. They just aren't able to see what they're actually contacting you through. We keep that secret so that we don't give away your information and spammers spam you for the rest of your life. And then down here, this is where you describe a little bit about your gift, strength, and ability. This is if there's some special stuff that you can do that not everybody would do, that people might be looking for on a particular project or something. Say you can do a triple backflip and not break your neck. Probably something you should list. I don't think everyone can do that. You should probably let people know you can do that, one, because I want to now ask you to send me a video of you doing that, and two, there are other people who want to see that video of you doing that. So yeah, I feel like that's important, an important ability of yours. But this also is like, if you have training in project management or something, let us know here. This does go public on your creator's profile so that other employers and other people can see what you're good at and that kind of stuff. So anything you think is important for them to know about any kind of abilities, strengths, or gifts that you have, include here. This is just a brief summary of kind of your creative journey, how you got into storytelling, why you love it, and that kind of stuff. And this is the same thing, but for your spiritual journey. So kind of where you got started on your spiritual journey, where you've been, and where you're at. So this is just to help people get a better understanding of who you are as a creator and as a storyteller, and kind of get a feel for, what stage of your creative journey and your spiritual journey that you're in, so that they can get a better understanding of who you are, and hopefully be able to know better if you would be good on their project or, whatnot. And then here, this is just a bunch of social links that you're able to include so people can find you in different places. Um, if you want to sync to a pre-existing IMDb profile, you'll need to make sure you include that here. If not, by default, we create you a new profile and we just assume you don't have an IMDb profile. So if you have an IMDb profile, please include it here, or we'll create you a new one and IMDb will be mad at us because they don't like duplicate profiles. So if you do have one, please include it for us so that we don't duplicate your profile. But if you don't, that's fine. We'll go and create it for you. We don't care, but we do need to know if you have one. And then down here, these are references that we actually call to make sure that you're who you say you are. So we have to verify that. We have to verify that you know, are whoever you say you are, and you know that you've worked on the projects you say you've worked on, that kind of stuff. So we just need two references to call. These can't be family members. They can be like pastors or church members or close friends. They just can't be somebody who shares your last name because they live in the same house as you or because they're your cousin. So uh, these can be past employers. These can be people you've worked with before on projects. You know, maybe an editor that you worked with if you were a writer. Maybe, you know, like a grip that you worked under if you were on a set or something like that. Just people to call to verify you're who you say you are and that you have indeed done some of these things you say you've done. And then that's it. Down here at the bottom, there's just two last questions. One of them is just something that we have to do because we do put your information on the interwebs for people to find. We have to make sure that we verify that you're okay with us doing that. So if you click no, we just file your information and keep it, but we don't actually put it public for anywhere to find. So it's not a lot of use to you, but you can do that and we'll keep that information. And if we come upon a project that sounds like something you might be interested in, we'll contact you, but you'll definitely get a better experience if you know, let us put your profile public instead of making it private. But that is up to you. And then the other thing is a couple of projects are looking for interns and stuff. So we ask, you know, are you interested in being an intern so that when we find those projects, we're able to alert you of that they're looking for interns. So that is the application for the creator's profile. Um, and if anybody has a question on that, I will give y'all guys just a couple minutes before I go running off into the next thing to answer any of those. Um, but it's pretty straightforward. You fill it out, you click submit. Now, as of right now, we do not have this profile where or this form where it will save as you write. So for some of the longer questions like your creative journey and your spiritual journey and your bio and stuff, we do strongly suggest that you write those on like a word processor and then copy and paste them once you're done with them. Because it's a terrible thing for you to write your whole bio, it sound really great, and then your internet crashes and none of it's saved. So we suggest writing those on some sort of third party application and then bringing them into the form and submitting them because the form will not save as you write. Hopefully that'll be something we're able to get fixed later on, but for now it doesn't. So easy fix is just to write that kind of stuff on a Word document to keep it from disappearing on you. Okay. So, all right. Looks like everybody understands that form. So that's great. Okay. So that's how you set up your own creator profile. So now let's look at some of the creator profiles here. So here on the homepage for the database, obviously we have the creator of the month, Jacqueline. Da, da, da. We have all our new creators here, which we can go and visit their pages. And then this is where we just were right here, the add creator, where we were looking at how to add ourselves. So down here under the Explorer, we can see the new creators once again, and we can view their profiles and all that stuff by hitting these handy dandy view buttons, as well as we can sort them by new, old members. And then we can go into these categories here. And right now, We're working on a bunch of these here so that, we can reach out to people within the music industry, people in the book publishing, the comic, the game, theater industry. But right now, all we have actually functioning is the film industry. But hopefully within the week, we'll have a lot more of these up and running. But right now, we have the film industry, and you're able to actually search for people by positions on here. So we can search for pre-production, production, post-production, that kind of stuff. And they're by categories, by department. So we have the key creative team, and this will show us all the producers, all the directors, all the screenwriters. Same thing here, the production department got line producers, post-production supervisors, script supervisors. And that just shows you everybody on the site that has some sort of credit on their profile for doing that job. So you're not able to say, well, I'm a first AD. You have to actually have a credit that says you're a first AD before the site will list you as a first AD. So, um, uh, basically, this is just to make sure that people can do the jobs that they're claiming that they can do. And I know that's kind of harsh because we all need someone to give us a chance to do a job to prove that we can do it. But for the particular sense of this being a resume for you, it needs to be what you have done, not what you can do if someone gives you the chance to do it. So we're trying to keep it that way with the actual projects that you have done. So you can't choose to select to, have yourself appear as a script supervisor if you have not been credited as a script supervisor in the past. So that's just to try to keep everything as uh, useful as possible. Now, I'm going to jump back to setting up the profile real quick because I got a question about it that I apparently missed. So, somebody asked, where do you go to edit your, um, to edit your profile? So your creators page. And if you go to, of course, the database here, and if you click this handy dandy add creator button, it goes here. And instead of clicking list a creator, if you just click update an existing creator, you can do that. You can also go to this handy dandy toolbar here, hit on creators, hit on the database, and you're here. Hit add a creator. Same deal. So update an existing creator. And then here you can update your real name, your stage name, which is your industry name, which will be what you're credited as, your contact information, your birthday, your biography, any social, profiles or whatever that you've listed. You can update all those. This is where you can add credits. So there's two kinds of credits you can add. You can add listed projects, which are really super fast and easy to add. So if the project you're trying to get credited for already exist on the database, so like it's already listed on the database as a project, all you have to do is put in your industry name, the email on your account, the actual, profile page that you're updating, and then put in your role, what department it was in, and then the project page itself, that, the project page on, of course, the Storytellers website, and hit submit, and it just does it. It's really easy. There's no approving process that you have to go through or anything like that. It's all quick and clean. Because one of the things that project pages our projects have to do when they get listed on Storytellers for the first time is provide us a list of all the people credited on the project. So basically, you just fill this out, and if that name appears on that list, bam, you're done. Now, if your project is not listed on the Storytellers website, you do have to provide us with some sort of contact person on the project itself for us to reach out to, just to make sure that you did indeed do the role that you said you did on this project. So let's say you were working on a TV show and you said that you were an assistant producer on the project, you would have to provide his contact info for somebody who is credited on the project as doing something, and they would have to verify that yes, you did actually do that. We had a cartoonist who was listing himself as working on a animation project that's on YouTube, and it was not listed on Storytellers. So he provided us the contact information for one of the creators on there. We reached out to them. They were like, "Oh yeah, we know him. Yes, he's worked with us before," and we were able to get that credit approved and listed on the site for him. But it's a lot easier if the projects are listed because we already have that information, so we can just either approve it or reject it. But we do want to give you the opportunity to list projects that aren't on the site because there's not a lot of projects on the site right now. Hopefully, there'll be more in the future. But yeah, so if it's not listed on the site, we do have to have some kind of contact person to reach out to make sure that you did indeed do what you said you did on the project. Because once again, we want this place to have a um, a reputation for being creditable and for the information on it being correct. So yeah, and that is how you would add credits to your profile is through the updated creators page and going, of course, to the little credits tab. You also have some details that you can add. So you can add photos. If you're an actor or an actress, you can add characteristics. So your age, your height, your build, your hair color, your eye color, all that kind of great stuff for, casting directors and stuff to be able to help. You can add your location, where you're based out of, and all that kind of stuff if you want to. Anything that you change on on the like anything you update or change on your creators page automatically is public by default. Of course, you can change it later, but we're just assuming if you're updating that information that you're wanting people to see it, so it's automatically public. So if you go in here and add, your eye color, update your eye color and submit it, your eye color will now be public on your creators page where it may not have been before. So just keep that in mind. Same thing with location. If you go and change your location, but you had marked before, not to show your location on your creators page, it will appear and you'll have to go in and, make it private again. Um, Hopefully that'll be something we'll be able to fix, but right now that's just how the system works. You can add skills, you can add videos to your page and all that kind of stuff. And then here's where you can edit your creative journey, your faith journey, and all that good stuff. So yeah, um, that's just its own little page for you to be able to do that. Um, Good grief, people are asking questions. Okay. Um, Is the page where you can view all the other creators live now? Because I wasn't able to find that before. Yes. So it actually literally went live 2 minutes before I started this. So if you go to the Storytellers main page here and you head on over to creators and you go to the lovely database here, this is where you can find all the creators. If you hit the more button here, bam, here they all are, organized by what they do and that kind of great jazz. Now, some of these creators here, their profiles are not live yet. So, like Heidi's, unfortunately, has not been all squared away and approved, so it's not live, so you can't see it. James C. Bass is live, so if we clicked on it, we could see his. So this is what, a creator's page would look like. You would have what's called your cover art here, um, your name, your main position that you are credited for. And then you would have some sort of thumbnail profile picture. And this is where your bio would go. So this is just kind of who you are, what you do, that sort of stuff. People are able to go straight to your IMDb page from here. We'll get back to this in just a second. This creators here. People are able to contact you through contact forms, as well as follow you on fans or support you. Of course, the support is not actually functioning yet. That's something that will hopefully begin out in the next several months, but that's all part of funds, which isn't quite live yet. And then you get handy dandy little graphics for what you're known for working on. And then we've got some details up here. So appearances, skills. This is where your creative journey, your faith journey will go. You can add photos and add videos. These are your credits. So he's got 2 credits, one for Glitch, where he played James Wade Ward, one for Literal, where he played Master Smooth Lips. These are some ideas that he's been working on, which are basically projects. So if you saw that, he was credited for Glitch and credited for Literal. So now under ideas, we see Glitch and Literal. And the ideas aren't live yet. So right now we can't actually see what that would look like, but you would be able to hit these buttons here to actually see those. And this is where you would be able to support a creator, like I was mentioning before, where you could do kind of like a Patreon style support campaign. This would be where you could do that, is right here. But of course, we don't have all that functioning yet. So as soon as we get it going, you'll be able to do that. But right now you can't. Here is where you're able to follow them on fans, which I'll go through that in a little bit. And then of course, contact form here. You can reach out to them. And this goes to whatever email you list as your contact email when you set up your profile. But of course, they're not able to see it. It'll just send to it as if it was an email, but they're not able to see it. And then when you reply back to them, it will mask it as whatever your name is. So let's say for James, if someone sends James an email and he replies to the email, it will actually go back, and the other person, when they get it, what they'll see is they'll see James_C_Bath at storytellers.sctreehouse.com. So, and they're able to reply to that email address, and then it just goes right back to whatever email you chose to be your contact email. That way they never get your actual email address, because some people don't have actual business emails and they just use their personal email. So we try to keep people from being able to get that, because spammers are creative and they know that if they fill out one of these forms and gets you to reply to the form, then they have your email address and they can spam you. So we try to mask your email just to keep you safe. And obviously, if you ever wanted to share with them your actual email, all you have to do is just send them an email that says, "Hey, by the way, here's my email." So, you know, it works. But so yeah. What was that other question? Can I join? Yes, you can join. Um, if you would like to join and be part of the whole database and everything, if you'll just head over to creators and go on to the database and hit the handy dandy add a creator button, um, you can actually list yourself as a new creator. So, and that's how you join. And this is the starting point for everything. So you have to fill out this form to get started on any of it. And once you fill out this form, we set you up on everything else. So once funds is functioning and everything, once you fill out this form, we automatically will set you up a funds page. And then you get the choice to make that visible to people or not. We also will set you up an account on the network, which I'll get to in just a second, as well as set you up a fan page for people to be able to follow you and all that. So this is kind of ground central right here, this list of creators form. So if you want to join and be a part of all this great stuff, you'll need to fill out this form. That's how you kind of get started there. Okay. What was the next question here? What if I worked as a sole member on a project? Can I put myself as the contact? So that's a really great question. And it was a problem for a while, but then actually somebody suggested a really simple answer to the solution to the problem. You do. You list yourself as the contact person on the project. And what we do is we reach out to you and we request a finished version of the project. And if you are able to provide a finished version of the project and proof that you actually made it, then you're listed. So let's say it's a YouTube video that you made by yourself. You would put yourself down as the creator of it and, put your contact information as a contact person. We then reply and request that you send us the video that you're saying you made. And if you send the video and it's on your channel and we reach out to Google and it hasn't been pirated and listed on your channel from somebody else's channel, then we credit it. We credit to you. So, yeah, it's actually pretty simple. You just list yourself as the contact person, and then we reach out and we ask you for a finished version of whatever project it is you claim that you were the only person who worked on it. And as long as we can prove that it is indeed yours, we credit you for it. So, and we're not incredibly nitpicky about that kind of stuff, but we do. Whoop, sorry, but we do have to make sure that all credits are valid and approved and all that kind of stuff. But we do try to keep it to where it's actually something that is accessible for you and you can actually use. So it's kind of, you've worked on those projects that were just you all by yourself and you deserve credit for them. So we want to give you that credit if we can. So yeah, you just list yourself as the contact person and then we make sure that you actually did do it, and we work with you to make sure that it's all good. And the same thing if you're the one who headed up the project, same ordeal. Most of the time when you're listing your, if you headed up a project that had a bunch of other people under it, working under it, um, you'll have proof that you did it. So even if it's like a Facebook post where you were self-promoting whatever it is you were working on, that's proof. You know, that lets us know that you were doing it. If not, you tried really hard to try to get credit for something somebody else did. And at that point, you should probably get credit for trying that hard. Um, so, uh, yeah. So, um, coming by proof that you're the one who made something isn't as hard as you think it is. I actually vetted for IMDb for a while, and that's one of the things that a lot of people would trip over is finding proof that they did something, but it's really not that hard. An official Facebook page, an official website, those things all work as great proof that you worked on a project. News articles are great. Now, a lot of times people don't get in the news, but those are great. Um, so yeah, coming by proof isn't that hard for it. And I hope that answered that question. Um, is there terms of use document? Yes, there is some terms of use as far as being listed on the database. Though those terms of use are actually just the most stereotypical terms of use for just using the internet in general. But they can be found in the footer of the website. There's a little terms and services button. And then there are more detailed terms of use for some of the fancier gadgets and gizmos that the website does. For like distributors, there's a much more beefier terms and conditions kind of contract that you have to agree to. And of course, if you're going to use the system to work on somebody else's project, they might have their own terms and conditions that you have to agree with. But yes, there is a terms and conditions document. You can find it in the footer. There's a little button there. You can click it and it'll show it to you. But yeah, it's really the most basic. Just you're letting us store your information and display it to the public is really all it's saying. But yes, it's there and you can read it if you want. If you have any questions about it, you can reach out to us and we'll clear them up. And if you find something that you think is suspicious in the document and reach out to us, we'll try to clear that up too, because we want this to be something people can use. And we're trying to make it very transparent and open. We're not trying to take your information and sell it to anyone or anything like that. We're really just trying to help people work together and hopefully get paid to do so. And to answer Red Noir Films question, yes, it does look pretty cool. It's pretty neat looking. Okay, so I have a question too. Joshua's question. I think that may have been why most of my credits didn't show up on my page. Okay, so there's actually two answers to that question. Yes, part of it is because you listed yourself, Natalie. as the main creator for some of them. And part of it is because the website itself has not cycled through an update yet. So we've been trying to go in and approve all the credits and all that stuff for people. But the website itself, because we were still trying to fix a bunch of little bugs and stuff, actually hasn't cycled through an update yet. So it hasn't updated any approved credits. That's something that we'll be doing over the next week, is running the website through an updating cycle. So people who have applied for creator pages and they're not live yet, hopefully theirs will be going live through that updating cycle this week, as well as any credits you've listed. So yeah, most of yours, Natalie, the reason that they're not showing up is just because the website hasn't cycled through yet to update any of that. And then yes, YouTubers can join. They are creators. They create things, so they can join. Um, and the approving process for YouTubers is pretty simple. They just list themselves as the contact person, and then we'll reach out and try to get a link for whatever they're wanting to be approved on. And we just check with YouTube to make sure that there's no sort of copyright claims or, uh, suspicious activity for that channel. And as long as that's all cleared, we just approve it and you're good to go. So yeah, YouTubers can join. Um, and now I've forgotten where I was to be before I start answering questions. Oh well, we'll just go back here. So yeah, somebody did ask, where do I see all the other creators? It's live now. You can see them now. They're sorted by what they do and all that good jazz. So, and like I said, some of the pages are live, some of them are not, because we haven't cycled the system through an update yet. We'll be doing that this week to try to get it updated. So, um, but just know that everything on the site is vetted, and it's vetted by human beings and not by machines. So sometimes particular credits or profiles will take a while to process through, just because we have to wait to hear back from a human being. So, if you list a contact person who isn't very quick responding and we have to send them 4 or 5 emails before they get back, that's going to delay that credit being approved. So, especially when you are adding yourself as a creator for the first time, those contact people, contact them first, let them know what you're doing, so that they will be quick and responsive to when we reach out to them. If not, your whole creators page could get hung up for weeks trying to reach out to a a single, contact person who just, is not getting our emails, or, wasn't expecting them to come. So hasn't, checked their emails in a while or whatever. So yeah, when you're having to do those references for the application, definitely make sure that you list somebody that you know is responsive, and then tell them that you did so that they're ready for it. Now, I'm gonna actually go to Jacqueline's page here, the creator of the month, because she was actually the very first person to ever file for a creators page. So hers has actually been through a couple of updated cycles. So it's got kind of the most information on it for me to show you. But here is a creators page. I know we already went through James's, but we're gonna go through hers too. So you've got this cool little splash with your name and what you do and all that kind of stuff. And of course, you choose your background. She's got her story here, her link to her IMDb page, a link to her website, and a link to her creators page on the network. And we'll get into that in just a second. Here's where we can contact her. Here's where we can follow her on Fans. Of course, once again, this is where we would be able to support her once all that's live. These are some social media uh, pages that she has listed, and we can just click over them, and it's like, bam, look at that. Here is Jacqueline's page. Isn't that cool? So that's how that works there. And there's a couple other things that the site does as well. So Let's actually get into those real quick. So, um, you've got these tabs up here that have some different information on them. So this is just your general story, kind of where you started, how you got to there. This is where your bio goes and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got some details. So here, like for actors and actresses, they can add their appearance, which is useful. For a composer, it's not really that beneficial. So she hasn't added anything. She's put this short little blurb about some of her skills that she has. This is, a short paragraph about her creative journey. And then she's got, her spiritual journey here. And of course, this is just up to the creator as to how long they want any of those to be. They can share as much or as little information as they want. Um, and then here, she would actually be able to add photos. Of course, she hasn't added any, but she'd be able to. And then she's added quite a bit of videos here to her videos tab. And she actually has a whole nother dedicated page to videos because she has so many videos. Uh, and we can see those that she has them in sections. We have like vlogs and musicals and jingles and scores and songs and interviews. And the way she's done this is when she went over here to the database and she was updating her creators page. Uh, the way that she was able to actually organize those is when you're updating and you're adding like videos, you're actually able to select what kind of video it is, and that's how she's able to categorize them to where they appear differently. So, yeah, um, back to where we were. Yeah, so she's got, a bunch of different ones, and she's got a lot of these. She's done some musical work, so she's got a lot of musicals and all that kind of stuff. And she also does some vlogging, so she's got her vlog videos up there and all that. And yeah, so you can add as many videos and as many photos as you want. The first, what is it, 6, 7, 8? The first 8 will appear on the main page here. The rest of them are in their own little more tab. And then the same thing with audio. You can add as many audios files as you want. She actually had a SoundCloud account, so we were just able to embed that straight in here. But if you don't, you can actually upload your audio straight into the system itself, and we have a system player, and we'll actually embed it straight onto here for you. But she already had all her stuff on SoundCloud, so we were just able to work with her to embed that straight on here, so that anytime she update her SoundCloud, it would just update right here, and she wouldn't have to worry about adding her music to 2 different places. And then once again, she's got some credits here. Uh, Once she's got, glitch listed as an idea because she's worked on it. This would be where we could do some fundraising, but of course that's not live yet. This is where you can follow her through the fans system, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And once again, you can contact her here. So that is kind of a general overview of the database. So I'm going to give just a few minutes here to make sure there's no more questions on the database. Yes. Okay. So when I say the first 8 videos appear, it's the most recent 8. Yeah. Um so yeah, whatever the last 8 ones you added are the ones that appear. Um I hope that made sense. Yeah. So does anybody have any more questions about the database before I move on to the network? I'm going to give it a couple minutes, give you guys some typing time. But yeah, so the database, it's a lot like IMDb, just a little more beefy. Uh because we thought, why not? We can make it beefy. We'll make it beefy. So, yeah, and it's got some really great search features too that I didn't go over, but you have a search bar down here and you're able to search for some great stuff, as well as whenever you're, looking for a particular thing like a producer or whatever, it's got some nice ways of showing you all the different producers and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Um, and like I said, right now we just have the film section up and running for the categorizing of all this kind of stuff here. We've only been able to set up films, but we'll be moving into TV next, and radio, and the music, and novels, and comics, and down the list here. And we'll be rolling those out hopefully within the next several months, so that people are able to use the site for those different things as well. Um, is that website updated issue 2? Oh, there was another question before. Okay. What if the creator what if the creator database page I filled out isn't connected to the network slash won't let me log in? Okay. Um that is a question in which I think maybe there's probably just a miscommunication there. Uh, there is a way to be able to actually log into the database, but that is not for creators. That is for admins of the database. So there's a couple of different people who are helping us run the database, and you'll see right here, you'll see where you can log in and register, but that is for people who are running the database. So creators don't actually have accounts to be able to get into that and log in there. And you might be able to stumble upon a page that asks you for a login, and that's a page that's being worked on at the moment. So that's why it's password protected, is so it can be logged in by the people who are actually working on it. So yeah, um, I hope that answered that question. That's the reason why your login doesn't work on the database, because you actually don't log into the database. The database is open and free for anyone to access. So there's no login for it, unless, of course, you are one of the administrators of the database. Then you have a separate login to be able to log in and edit stuff on the database. So yeah, that's not a website updating issue. Now, if you're talking about how your creators page does not have a link to your network page yet, yes, that is an update thing. It just hasn't cycled through the system yet. You will eventually, as I was showing on Jacqueline's page here, there will be a little button here that says creators, where people can find you on the network. So if you're a creator and you have an account on the network, you can click here and it'll show them your profile on the network so that they can chat with you and all that good stuff. Um, is there a way to embed your Facebook page too, so that people can see the live like the SoundCloud page? Oh, that's a really interesting idea. As of now, no. No, there is no way of doing that, but I do like that idea. Uh, I'm not gonna make promises because I don't really know if it's possible, but it's definitely like I'm gonna write it down right now as something to look into. Um, so yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good idea, but no, you can't do it right now, but it definitely should be something that you should be able to do in the future. And then I also got the question, is there anything to keep someone else from editing my page? Yes, there is. Um, the way that the editing system's set up right now, just because of vetting and all that good jazz, uh, the only way that you are able to actually submit and edit for a page is if you have the industry name for whatever page you're doing, which of course is public. People can find that. And then you have to have the link for it, which of course is public. People can find that. But then you also have to have the correct email address that you used when you submitted the page, which will also be the email address that you use to log into the network. So you have to have that, which of course people can get your email address. So like your friends and stuff could potentially send in edits for the page, but all edits have to be approved. So if something looks suspicious, we will flag it and contact you directly and make sure that it's something you did. So no, not anyone can edit your page. They have to have all three of those criterias: the name, the industry name of the page being edited, the link to the page being edited, and then the email address associated to the creator's account for that page. If they have all three of those, the edit will actually go through for vetting. But if it looks suspicious on our end, we will not approve it and we won't change the edit until we get a hold of you to make sure that it was actually you who did it or that you're okay with it. So yeah, hope that answered that question. Let's see, what else is here? Is there a way? Okay. Would YouTubers fall under film or a separate category? They would fall under web. So, YouTubers would fall under web. Now, here's the thing about the creators, the database. It does not sort creators by category. So, or it doesn't confine them to one. Let's put it that way. So, a creator, it actually sorts through their credits. So the way that the database sorts you is by what credit you have. So if you have a credit as a YouTuber, it will pop up your profile when someone searches for YouTubers or when someone, sorts the database by web, by web creators. It will show you there, but it does not put you into one category and keep you there. It puts you into categories based on your credits. So if you have credits as a YouTuber, which would be web credits, the database will sort you and put you and list you under web stuff too. But if you also have, credits as a, novelist, it will also put you under books and novels as well. So it organizes by credits. It doesn't organize by profile. So you don't like select, I am a YouTuber, and you only pull up as a YouTuber. It actually sorts you by credits. So if you've ever done a job before, you can be found as that. So I hope that answered that question. Then how do you get in to update your profile page? Okay, so to update your profile page, I was kind of explaining that before. You just head on over to creators, the database, add a creator. Man, there should be a simple way of doing this. I'm going to try to make a simpler way of doing that. Anyway, you click update an existing creator and you have to put in your industry name, the email for whatever your whatever email you used when you originally filled out the form, and then your creators page, and then you would put in whatever you were updating, whatever information it is. Yeah. So eventually it would be cool to have it to where it was account based, to where you could get in and do more edits like you would on Facebook or something. But for now, this is the way that we were able to set it up and do it. We do have plans to turn it into more of a account-based editing system, but because of it being driven by having to be vetted so that we can have all those cool syncing features with IMDb and Cast and everything, we weren't able to allow people to do that kind of stuff because it all has to be approved for us to be able to keep those contracts with IMDb and that kind of stuff. So for now, we have to have you edit your page this way so that it comes to us first, so that we're able to vet it before it actually changes on your page, instead of letting you be able to log into like an account and change it anytime you want. I know it's kind of annoying, but it's being done to keep legitimacy and all that kind of stuff for the pages. Update your profile information through that form that I was showing, that he was showing you. Oh, cool. Joshua was answering somebody else's question. Thank you. Are creators, fans, everything you need to know, and all these pages connected in such a way that you don't have to log into each one separately? So if I logged into creators, do I have to log into fans separately? Okay. So to answer this question really quick, the Everything You Need to Know to Survive Insanity site was like the original beta test for all of this that SC TreeHouse set up for our projects that we were working on. So that's actually not connected to this network in any way. Eventually, we'll actually phase that network out entirely and just move everything over to Storytellers. But it does still exist for now because we haven't had a chance to just move that massive amount of information over and all that stuff. So, yeah, nobody else can actually get into the everything you need to know to survive insanity site. Uh, but I did want to address that for you. So, right now, creators and fans are separate. You can actually use the same login on both, but just because you're logged in on one doesn't mean you're logged in on the other. You can actually log out of them independently and log into them independently, even though you use the same login information for both. And the reason that we did that is just to keep the two separate so that fans weren't able to get into the network, the creator site, and, see what creators were working on and maybe get to some information they didn't want them to get to. So we've created that kind of hard wall between the two sites, between fans and creators, so that um, creators can feel safe when they're in the creator site and not feel like, fans might be able to find out information about their new cool project that they're trying to work on in secret. So, yes, you can use the same login for both, but just because you log into one doesn't mean you automatically log into all the other ones. And we did that just to make sure that there was that extra level of protection for those who wanted it. Um, so yeah, you will have to log into the network and then into fans separately. But you can use the same login information. You just log in and out of them independent of each other. If I feel like something that shouldn't be some kind of password protect. I feel like that's something that should be password protected. Man, I should read these comments when you guys comment them because now I'm not sure what Natalie's talking about. I feel like that's something that should be password protected. Oh, being able to edit creators pages. Is that what you're talking about? I'm sure that's probably what she's talking about. Um, we could. Oh, I already answered it. Okay. Oh, I addressed that. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Okay. Neat. All right. Well then, we'll move on to the network because I want to show you guys that. Man, if I was trying to explain the whole Storyteller system today, that would have been a big thing. I'm glad I'm only doing the creators part of it. Okay. So let's go and explore the network. So we just were exploring the database, which is only part of the creators system here. So let's explore the network. So this, in my opinion, is the coolest part of creators. This is where you guys are actually able to interact. So I'm going to log out so that y'all guys can see how it works. So if I was over here and I went to the network, da 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 da. Okay, you can request to join. So if you didn't set up a creators page, you can request to join. Most likely you won't get approved though. It would have to be, and you can argue your case when you click request to join. Um, you put in your first name, your last name, and all that kind of stuff. And it will ask you a question. So why do you need a account on the network if you don't have a creators page? And you can argue your case. Most of the time, though, we don't approve them because we think it's very important for you to have both. Because once again, it keeps the whole network very legit, and it allows people to know that everybody who's here really cares about what they're doing and they're willing to go the extra mile to do it. So yeah, but it is possible for you to have login information to the network without having a creators page. But if you set up a creators page, when we send you your email to be like, congratulations, your page is up, it's live, we also send you your login information to get into the network as well. So anyway, I would click here to sign in because I have my own login. Which, yes, I have auto-filled. So anyway, you would just log in here and it give you a second. Bing. And here you go. So this is the network. Pretty cool stuff. So It's like Facebook, except instead of being focused on profiles, it's actually focused on groups. So your profile is pretty bland. Um, it just kind of is your face, your name, whatever, your uh, specialty is, I guess. Uh, and then your location, which of course you don't have to make public if you don't want to. But it's a really neat way to be able to collaborate with people who are near you because the site itself will actually show other creators that are near you. It'll be like, hey, look, here are other creators that live near your area, or here's other creators in your town, or here's other creators in your state. So it's really neat to have that information public so that the site can recommend you to creators that are nearby so that you can actually see them in person and work with them and that kind of stuff. But your profile is pretty bland. It just shows different things that you have activity on. So, like, here's a question that I wrote an answer on. So it appears here's an event. Oh, look, that's this event here that I'm attending. Isn't that weird? And then there's a little like about where you have a little like, why am I here? And a little about me and, some information about, your specialty and some of the different topics you're following and the groups that you're in. And then this will list like events that you're going to and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, you can have links to your website or any of your Facebook and LinkedIn profiles and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so your profile on this isn't really intense like it is on Facebook because we decided that instead of focusing on profiles, we were going to focus on groups because we thought people could interact better if we put them in groups to where they could work together than if we separated them into individual profiles. So that is what we did. I had a thought. Is it possible to remove pictures or videos on your creators page that you don't want anymore? Oh, yes. I'll answer that real quick. You can. You can delete them. It's what you end up doing is you actually just when you go to the edit page, you would put in like if you had a photo you were trying to delete, you would put in the information, your industry name, the email address, the creators page. And then what you'd actually do is you would put the image in again. So say you don't have the image anymore, just download it off of the, database, upload the image again, and then the network just knows that you don't want the image anymore and it deletes it. So yeah, it's kind of weird. There's probably a better way of doing it, but that's how it works right now. We should probably try to figure out how to add some sort of delete button. But right now, what you do is if you want to delete a video or a picture, you just create a duplicate of it and you submit a duplicate and it deletes it. So yeah, that's how it works right now. Hopefully it'll work better in the future. So anyway, back to the network. So right here is the feed, and it just kind of shows you the most recent things that are going on, where people are talking back and forth, chit chatting, all that kind of stuff. And up here is the search and discover, which is really super neat and handy. You can type in things like, fun, I don't know. Yeah, and it'll just pull up anything that has to do with fun, or you can type in director, or you can look for a member specifically, like if you're looking for Gideon. See, there he is. So yeah, it's really neat what you can do with search and discover. But when you go to it, you've got featured posts, which right now there's no featured posts. But if there was something that uh, the administrators of the site thought was important for you to know, like if they had some new information that they wanted you to know, or something like that that was going on, they would add it to this feature section. So it was really easy for you to find. You can find top posts. So these are the posts that people are really interacting with, and you can join in on that conversation or whatever. Whoops, didn't mean to actually join in on a conversation. And then here is what I was telling you. See, the website Gideon here has listed that he is in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he's made that information public. So it's telling me, hey, look, here's somebody near you. So I'm able to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow this guy because he's in my area. That's really cool. So it's really neat that it's able to connect you that way. And then here are the top groups. And this is what I was talking about earlier. We've put people into groups that they're able to, chat in instead of, profiles. So um, these are the top ones: comic book storytellers, radio storytellers, faith based storytellers, film storytellers, messianic storytellers. And these are just groups, and you're able to, make posts or ask questions. You can do questions, you can do multiple choice questions, hot or cold questions, percentage questions. So that's really cool. Yeah, I don't want to actually post that. And then we've got topics. So we've got acting, adventure. There's a bunch of topics. So crew, drama, casting, and you're able to post in topics as well, and you can search by topics. So if you're looking for casting calls, you can follow this topic, and anytime that a casting call comes up, or anytime anybody posts anything in casting, bam, it notifies you. So that's really neat. So if you're into autobiographies and you like that kind of stuff, you can follow it. As you see, I follow everything because I'm an administrator. But and then upcoming events are listed here. Events that are near you are listed here. So it's just a really cool way, this search and discover, to communicate with people. But anyway, back to the homepage. So right up here is your notifications. So as you see, I have a few notifications. Um, a notification that Joe Hennessy wants to join. Oh, looky there. A notification that Kaylee wants, or no, Kaylee has joined. Oh, look at that. And then this is saying that an ambassador had referred her to the network, which is really cool. And then, of course, I have the option to welcome her to the network, which I will. I will welcome this new member to the network. She has now been welcomed. But, you've got all your notifications here, and you can see them. Little blue dot ones haven't been seen. Dark ones have. And, of course, you can just hit that, and it marks them all as red. And this is also where you can log out right here by clicking this little power icon. If you need any help, this right here is the help page, and you're able to ask questions. We worked with Mighty Networks to build this. So it's actually their help site, because a lot of it is done through their services and stuff. So instead of reinventing the wheel, we just sent everybody to their help center, because most of the time they have the answer to the question. But if not, you can always reach out to us and we'll try to figure out what's going on. But we did work with them to build this site, and they were great. They were so helpful in doing it. Right here, you have chat, which is really cool. There's a group chat for the entire network. So you can just chat with everyone in the network. Bam. And now everyone on the network gets that chat. And you can then chat with individual people too. So, I can say hi to none of these people are online. Oh, Zachary Lawrence is online. I can say hi to Zachary Lawrence. So, um, we'll see if he replies. Oh, look, someone replied. Hey, oh, Joshua's online. But you've got nifty little blue dots that'll show you who's online and not, just like you would on Facebook. So that's kind of cool. So you can chat with people. These are all people that I've chatted with before on the system, as well as you have chats for the groups you're in. So you can chat with everybody who's in a group. So, like, say the faith based filmmakers, I can be like, hey guys. So, let's do some proper grammar there. Um, So yeah, you can chat with the actual groups that you're in too, and just chat with the whole groups. And up here, it shows you what members of those groups are online, and their little faces will pop up. So I'll actually go back here so you can see that. So see here, I'm online, Joshua's online, Gideon's online, Heidi's online, and Zachary Lawrence is online. So that's pretty cool. And it looks like Gideon's typing a message too. We can see that it says Gideon typing. But we're gonna leave real quick, and we'll come back when he types something. So right here, this nifty little square dot thing, This is like your dashboard, and this is where the stuff is. So you can go here and see all the topics and, click into them, and you can see anything that's listed under those topics. So right here, somebody's talking about this group that is looking for professional voiceover talent. So that's cool. Um, and of course, you can follow these groups. So I'm going to unfollow it. See, it's a little bing, follow. And now you get notifications of it. And of course, this shows anybody in the group who's online or who was recently online. You've got post, where you can just see all the posts that are on the site. You have polls and questions. So this is where people are asking questions about stuff. So somebody asked, how's the day going? And a couple people answered and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty neat. We got a new chat notification here. Um, articles. Articles are for the administrators. So this is where they're going to write important stuff for you to know and all that kind of stuff. So on the creator site, you can't write articles. Only administrators can write articles. And that's just so they have a unique way of being able to reach you guys about important stuff regarding the system itself. Now, on fans, which I'm not going to get into tonight, but on fans, you can actually write articles for your fans. We'll do a whole nother um, little seminar, webinar thing on that. But we're going to go over here. Look, we actually had Natalie type in something. Hey, I got in. Yay. My login wasn't working for a while and I was confused. I also didn't realize that there was a separation between the network profiles and the database pages. So now I'm much less confused. That's good. That's really good. I like it when people are less confused. Hey, long time listener, first time messenger. Oh, yes. That, yes. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, uh, we have our little notifications. They pop up here. Polls and questions, articles, events. You can, look at all the events, of course. Nearby events, past events, events that you started and you created, and you're allowed to, click this little plus button and make events. So if you want to have like a meetup, or maybe you're doing a casting call or something, you can create an event for that, which is real easy. You just type in the name of the event. You can add it to a particular group. You can add it to a particular topic. So if it was a casting call, I would add it to casting. And if it was, it was a casting call for film, I would add it to the film group. And, I'd type in what it was about. I'd add some information about it. And if you click this cool little plus button, you can add things like videos and photos and attachments to your stuff. So that's really neat. You're able to put, is it a local? Is it a live chat? Is it an online meeting? Is it a video? Change the date, the time, change the time zone. For anybody who was here back when we were trying to make all this back in 2015, you guys remember the whole time zone ordeal. I didn't realize how important time zones were, and I didn't write any of that into the system. So you would create an event and it wouldn't be attached to a particular time zone. So it would tell everyone that this event was at 4:30. And everyone would show up at 4:30 their time, but that wouldn't be helpful because rarely was 4:30 their time, 4:30 somebody else's time. So now you actually pick the time zone that your event is in, and it will automatically update the time for everybody so that they all see it in their own time zone. So everybody gets there at the same time. And since I have this as a local event, I would put down the address so people could get there. But if I made it like a live chat or something, it would have its own chat room. Or if I made it into an online meeting, I would put the link to the online meeting. I can turn on RSVP where people are able to, say that they're coming, or I can disable it and they just show up if they want. So yeah, really neat stuff there. You can also save your events and come back and edit them later and all that kind of good stuff. Then you can go here and you can see all the members. You can look at members that are near you. So Gideon's near me, Chris Stewart's near me. I didn't know Linda was near me. Huh. So yeah, and it just starts from the closest to you to the farthest away. So who's the farthest away? Looks like it's Gloyd. Gloyd is the farthest away from me. But yeah, and then you can list it by who's new. So if you want to say hi to the newbie, oh, look, there's a newbie. Let's say hi to the newbie. Yep, if I can spell newbie. There we go. But yeah, so that's that. You can look at who's the host and who's ambassadors and all that kind of stuff, which anybody can be an ambassador. And there's kind of some cool awards for ambassadors. And I'll go over that real quick in just a second. And then you can look at who's online right now. So these are all the people who are actually here in the network right now online. So I can see who they are and I can follow them. I can say hi to them and all kind of great jazz. Then here are the groups. So this is now, of course, some of these groups are secret and you're only seeing them because I have an administrator account. But like the beta testing group is secret because beta testing stuff. But anyway, so yeah. Uh and also what's really neat is we are actually able, if you like, I'll get to this when I talk about ideas, which I'll do in another webinar. But when you create an idea, you can actually create like a work group for your idea on the creators network here so that people are able to work together and chat together and all that kind of cool stuff. And we can make it private or public for you. So you would actually have one of these groups like this for your particular project so that you could work with other creators on it. So that's really neat, which is actually what the creator of the month has right here. That team who's working on the creators of the month has their own secret group where only certain people can see it, where they're able to chat back and forth about what they're going to do for the creator of the month and all that kind of cool stuff. So yeah, and these work the same way. You can see the top groups, the newest groups, the groups that are near you, because you can actually assign a location to a group. So if you wanted to start a uh, creators in Nashville group, you could give it the location Nashville and people could see that was near them. And these are inactive groups. So these are groups that have been, no one's been active in them for a while. So the gaming storytellers, we haven't actually launched yet, which is why it's inactive. And we've turned off beta testing right now. So that's why it's inactive. But then you can actually invite people. And this is how you become an ambassador, is using this whole little invite thing. You put their email addresses in here and the information. You can type in a little cool welcome message to them. You can also just copy this link and send it to anybody you want and all that kind of neat stuff. So this is how you become an ambassador, is just by inviting people to join. And once you get so many invites, you become bronze, and so many you become silver. So you have to invite 6 more people because before I reach silver status and all that kind of stuff. But you get neat awards. We send you emails with cool awards every time you unlock a new status of ambassador. So that's pretty cool. And then right here just takes you back to the database site. So and that's kind of how that works in a nutshell. I'm sure there are now questions. That is true. It's a very true statement. Joshua said that we should change that to where somehow that's password protected so people can't just delete stuff off of their profile the way that you would re-upload a picture to delete it. So that's a good point. Does anybody have any questions about the network real quick that I can answer? Because we've gone about 10 minutes over planned time, but I do want to answer any questions if you guys have them. I'm going to check over here and make sure that there aren't any questions. All right. I don't see any questions there. I'll give you guys a couple minutes just in case you have any and you're typing. But yeah, so that's kind of a rundown of creators. And now, of course, like I said, this is only the very first part of the Storytellers Network. So as we get the rest of them up and running, we'll do the same sort of seminar webinar thing for each one of them, show you guys how to use them, introduce you to them. But right now, creators is what's up and going. And as you've picked up on it, it is still very much in the sort of working idea stage. So still very very much beta in a lot of places, but we're trying to make it work and get it running for you guys. So if you have any questions about how to get involved in it or set it up or, anything like that, you can feel free to contact us. There is a contact form on the site, as well as you can just email storytellers at sctreehouse.com. Um, and you can reach out to us that way as well. You can also reach out to anybody who's a host within the creators network. They'll be able to answer your questions as well. So I hope it's something that works really well for you guys. And now I have questions. Let me see what those are. Might be helpful to add something that says that as default on creators. Man, I should really read these when you comment. Oh, haha, forgot about the fans page. I'll talk about that real quick. Um, okay, cool. So I will real quick just touch on fans, although it's not fully functional yet. So um, I will do a whole nother little webinar on it when it's fully functional, but I will talk about it real quick just for curiosity's sake. So um, right here, we can actually follow Jacqueline because she's the creator of the month. But this goes to fans, which is basically the exact same thing as creators, except fans are allowed to come in. So you can create a team. We call them fan teams. So teams right here. You can create a when you create a creator's profile, it creates you a fan team, and people are able to follow your fan team, and you're able to update them, and they're able to talk to you through this system. And if you are the owner of a fan team, whenever you like, I'm the owner of a fan team. So whenever I write a post to my fans, and that's what we're going to write just real quick so I can show you how to do it. See, it asked me if I would like to notify all the members who are fans of this post. And I can choose to notify them or not. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where it's like Facebook, except it's free. So, but if I don't notify them, it'll just, it'll notify them within the system itself. So, like if I said don't notify, they'd get a little thing here that said, hey, Christopher posted a new post. You want to check it out? But if I hit notify, what it does is actually sends an email to them and a text message to them that says, hey, Christopher just posted something that's apparently super important for you to know. So, yeah, that's how you can make sure that really important stuff people get. So, like if you're dropping a cool new teaser, you might want to notify everyone of that because they want to know as soon as that thing goes out. So yeah, that's fans, but I will explain a whole lot more of it in its own thing. But yeah, it once you have a creators page, you automatically get a fans page, which people are able to click these handy little buttons and follow you on those. So I'm not going to get any farther into that right now. Um, and then, okay, that might be helpful to let people know. Okay. Okay. So the whole ambassador thing. Yeah, probably so. Good thing. That might be something to let people know. Um, yeah, that's a good point. But anyway, so yes. Okay, cool. That is that. And now we're 15 minutes over, so I'll let you guys get back to your lovely evenings that you had. Thank you for joining me. Um, right now, everything that I've shown you, except for fans right there at the end, is all live and you can use it. You can go in and you can fill out a form to start a creators page. You can join the network, get yourself listed on the database and everything. That's alive today, and you can access it. Um, Give us some grace, though, especially this week. I'm sure we will have a bunch of different applications that we will have to sort through. So just kind of give us some grace and help us. Just give us a little time as we try to figure it out. But we will get you guys approved as soon as we can and get you guys actually listed so y'all can do stuff. Um, so yeah. So thank you guys, and I hope that you have a lovely, lovely evening. And I really appreciate. That's the correct word. Appreciate you guys joining me tonight as I was explaining all this crazy stuff. But like I said, all the stuff I showed you except for fans is live right now. So have fun with it. If you have any questions, you can contact storytellers at sctreehouse.com, which I will put in the chat so everybody has it. Um, and then if you are on the uh, the network, you can also anybody who says they're a host, you can reach out to them as well, and they'll be able to answer your questions. If not, they will be able to put you in contact or send your information to whoever does know the answer. So, um, yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely evening. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you guys all next time.